Howdy. Today I'm going to be working on a Model 21 Winchester. Very fine old double. It's got a beaver tail forearm. It's got a couple of cracks in it. And it's just a fine old gun. I'm going to be matching this buttstock, which has got some fairly nice quilted wood. See those little splotches all over it? That's a sign of quarter sawn walnut down close to the bottom of the tree. When you see quilting in walnut, that means it's quarter sawn. The grain is going straight, the rings are going straight across this way. And this is a nice, it's got some fiddleback in it. You can see just a little bit up in here, but it's got a couple of cracks in it. Right along in here, a crack that goes down, and down here a little bit. Anyway, we're going to start replacing this old beaver tail. I picked out a piece of wood here. It's got a fair amount of color. It's got fiddleback, especially down this edge. It's got this dark streak, this black streak running through it. And there's a knot right in here, which I'm going to miss, but I'm going to get real close to it. I'm going to get as close as I can and not hit it, because that's where the prettier grain comes from, is right next to a knot. There's a wavy, just a wavy pattern all down this edge from about the middle of it over. You can see the middle of it. There's a heart. And because, you know, there's the heart, then the grain is going that way, which causes that wavy quilted look. So this is what I'm starting with. It's hard to see it before it's finished, but this side of this board is more perpendicular to the rings. See how the rings curl around this way? This is more 90 degrees perpendicular to the surface of those rings. This side, the rings are going on a slant. So this side shows more quilting, and that's that splotchy, those little splotches. Now they don't show near as much now as they do when they're finished. The problem is I have a little flaw right there. They don't go very deep. This knot, I've got more length than I need. I can cut the knot off. But I'm going to get rid of this flaw a little bit at a time and save all of this quilting that I can, because this is the preset. I'm going to turn this down on this forearm so the bottom of it will show. The top of it's all barrels. I took out about maybe a quarter of an inch off of it, but that got rid of that little flaw. I didn't even have to take that much, because that's what I had, and on the other side of it, it's not there. So I didn't even have to take quite that much, but I still ended up with some nice quilting. And like I said, it's hard to see now. It'll show up when it's finished. Alright, I'm not sure exactly why Winchester did this, but they this forearm is really got some tension on it when you go to put it back on. Once it's on there, it's fine. It works well. You know, ejectors work well, everything. I looked this up to see what's the best way to take this off, and they say on Shotgun News it says to make sure that your hammers are cocked before you take this off, before you break it down. So they are, and I'm going to go ahead and take this off. It comes off fine, but there's a spring, a lot of tension right in here. I don't know, it's something to do with the ejectors, and why they made it that way, I don't know. But that has got a serious spring. A forearm, a beaver tail forearm, is not an easy thing to make. It just isn't. For one thing, you have to test fit it, take it off and on about a Brazilian times. And with this thing, the way it is, trying to put it on, that's going to be very labor intensive. But the good thing is I have a pattern that I can get it, 95% cut out just by doing some dimensions inside here, and I can do a lot of it that way. That's the good thing. After that, I think I'm out of good things. So now I'm just going to do me some measuring and some diagrams to get this guy fitted. See if I can see which direction this knot goes. I'll get as close as I can to it and not get in it. Yeah, it's helping me because it's going away. It's going that way. I believe I'm okay with the knot. Yeah, I'm good. Alright, this thing is 60 thousandths deeper on the cut, the depth of these barrels on the front, than it is at the back. From the top edge. The top edge is pretty straight. No, it's not exactly. It's got a little bit of a hump to it. But from here to here, this is 60 thousandths deeper than it is here. So when I set this in my mill, that's good to know, so I can set the block, the blank, 60 thousandths higher on the front. Yeah. This is my bottom. The knot is the back. This is the front, top. So I'm going to set this thing in there 60 thousandths pitched. 62 thousandths is a 16th in that length, so I can just set my level on there, and then I'll make a mark on my vise and where I can put it back in and out of there the way I need it. I may even put a little shim underneath it where I can just drop it in and bottom it out, and that'll let me go back to the same place every time. Is I put a notch in the front of this where it touches this vise jaw. That locates it forward and backward. And I have raised this thing up to where it's a 16th higher here than here, because that's this groove for the barrels is cut out a 16th deeper from here to here than it is from here to here. It's actually 60 thousandths, but that's close enough to a 16th. I put a level on that. I fastened this one, I tightened this one, and I put a mark, a pencil mark here around the edge of this, the jaw. So I can relocate that. I can take it out, put it back in, and you just end up doing that multiple times. Now what I'm going to do is measure the inside between here and here and here and here, and that is not straight, so I can't assume that's a straight line. It's got a slight curve inward because the barrels taper down. Excuse the panting. A thunderstorm came through a while ago, and Joe don't like thunderstorms. I got some pretty good lines drawn on here. I've got a depth on both ends. I've got it a 16th of an inch out of level, high on this side, And when I do that, because this line is cutting a 1/16 deeper than here, when I bottom out on those lines, it should hit both of them. Here we go. I went from the widest to the narrowest, and watched that cutter as it cut that line out. I was backing off my depth up here. I raised it actually 70 thousandths from here to here, and I was moving this back down here, moving this bed toward me to cut less and less. So I had the automatic feed on quite slow, moving this and moving this up at the same time and just chewing that out. And all this is a rough guess still, because I'm just going by some lines and some dimensions. I'll have to fit it once I get it around the barrels, but I'm getting most of it out of there. Now I've got to change cutters because this is a 1-inch diameter, and it's not tight enough to go down in these barrels on this little end. I've actually got to change and go to 3/4 inch. The 3/4 inch is quite a bit smaller than what I need, so I'll have to make multiple passes. And there again, I'm just roughing it out. I'll have to come back by hand and do a lot of hand fitting with this. And then I've also got to mill out where this this metal